Just setting up the channel, so bear with me for a second. Okay, so I think we're up and running. I'll just check the volume levels, make sure everything's looking okay. Yeah, it's looking fine. Although the, yeah, it is coming through okay. I'm always a bit wary. Windows has a habit of changing the volume levels on you without asking, or particular software does. But it's looking okay. So we are in the A380 at Denver at the moment. So Denver is a colossal airport. I don't know if you've ever seen it in the simulator. It's absolutely gigantic. And we're going to go from Denver over to Salt Lake City. So I'm going to work through starting the A380 up again. So if you follow my blog, you'll have seen I've been writing a procedure for it and updating it endlessly as I've learnt more and more. The main thing we're going to be looking at today is, in addition to just normally flying the airplane, is we're going to look at the SimBrief performance calculator, which is the only decent way of calculating the takeoff parameters for the A380 at the moment. But again, even it doesn't do everything we need. So we'll have one thing left blank, and I'll get to that when we get there. But anyway, let's go and jump inside the airplane. So looking at the live stream comments there, we've already got a hello being shouted. Hello to everybody that's watching. I will try and keep on top of the comments today. So let's go and have a look at our plan in Navigraph. So we are going to fly, let me just turn off the diagrams at the moment and put the world map on. So we're going to fly from Denver, which is over here, and fly pretty much straight line into Salt Lake City. So it's not a very long flight, but it's really just a proving flight to try things out. So we've got Serge Stewart saying, friends at the Pilot Club. Okay, so let's go and jump inside the airplane. It seems very quiet, doesn't it? Yeah, the sound is working. It is very quiet inside the airplane. So we're going to be using SimBrief to shortcut programming the airplane. And as I said, we'll, where are we? I'm losing track of what applications I've got open. We're flying from Denver. We're doing the Zimmer 3 departure, which looks like this. And it'll be interesting actually to see what the autopilot makes of doing that. So everything's, you know, interesting with a newish aeroplane in the sim to see how it handles it. So first things first, then we're going to go through the airplane. So Control 0 takes us over to the tablet. We're going to turn the tablet on, and we can import our SimBrief data to get the data on the flight. And following doing that, we can go into the truck icon, go to the fuel section and get the fuel from SimBrief. Like, it was hardly any fuel needed for the flight. This plane can fly 3/4 of the way around the world, and we're going to get it to fly about 300 miles. So payload, we'll go and get the payload from SimBrief as well and load the people onto the airplane. And there we go. That's that done. So you do get some data in here, and we'll be relating to that along the way. But what we're going to show you today is within SimBrief. So there's our basic flight with the operational flight plan summary in SimBrief. You also get a performance and tools section. So within here, you can populate this from your last flight you have planned. So you can fill this out, or you can just say, get it from my flight, please. And then you can just say calculate. So notice it's picked out the A380, and it's picked out from Denver, and it's going through runway 08. So it knows everything about the departure and the parameters of the flight plan. So then we can say calculate, and it gives us a diagram of the runway. But more importantly, it gives us the V-speeds, which don't appear inside the aeroplane. The only thing it doesn't have, as far as I can see, is the trim setting for the horizontal stabilizer, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, otherwise it should be fairly straightforward. So we've got our basics on the tablet, so then we can go over to the overhead panel and we can go and turn the batteries on. We can turn the external power on and the airplane comes to life around us. Go and turn the strobes to auto, nav light to on, master switch on for the APU, then start the APU. Cruise supply can go to on, emergency exit light can go to armed, the no mobile light can go to auto, and then we can go overhead further, so control 9 takes us further overhead, and we can go and switch on the alignment of ADIRS. So then, while we're waiting for that to happen, we can come down into the cockpit. I think all the screen brightnesses look pretty good actually, so not much to do there. And then on the EFB, yeah, we've already imported the SimBrief data, we've done the fuel, we've done the payload, so we're going to go through the SimBrief route of pulling the flight plan into the MCDU. So we're going to come over to the MCDU with control 5. We're going to zoom out slightly so we can come down and press the init button. And we're going to do a company flight plan request. So it comes up and it's pulling the data in, so it's received the flight plan, so we can pull it in and insert it. So here comes our flight plan data, but it isn't complete yet. So what we'll do first, before we do the performance data, we'll go and do the departure. So let's go and have a look at Navigraph to remind ourselves we're taking off runway 08 doing the Zimmer 3 with the Chungi transition. 08 doing the Zimmer 3. My memory is shocking today. And the Chungi transition. And we see what that looks like, and we insert it into the flight plan. So you can see there is there's that manual step I was on about, look. So I wondered what it was going to do in terms of the actual departure. So we'll just delete that out and we'll have a look at the navigation display. Actually, it won't be up and running yet, will it? Not until the rest of the system's up and running. Let's go and put the arrival into Salt Lake City in. So 34 left, Leahy 5 with the Eka transition. So 34 left, ILS 34 left, Leahy 5 with the Eka transition, and insert that, and then we can have a look through and see what we've got. So there's the routing. Obviously, yeah, there's a discontinuity there between the star and the approach as well. Again, it's manual, so it would be vectors, I guess, at that point. So we haven't got any ATC, so we're just going to go and delete that out and insert that back in. And let's have a look through the rest of it. So I'm going to leave this in place for the moment, just so once the navigation screen comes up, so we'll be able to see it and to see what it's got, basically. Okay, so then we're going to go over to the init button again, and we can go and shortcut. We've done fuel and load already, but we can go and have a look in here. Actually, no, we haven't. So we need to get the numbers from the tablet. So if we go and look in here, 0 fuel weight, 345 tons. So we can click in here and go 345. I will look at the live stream comments in a moment. I'm just concentrating at the moment. And the center of gravity is 34.9, so 35. So 35 goes up here. I keep going to use the keypad. You don't actually have to. You can use your keyboard. The block fuel is 23,300, so 23.3. Old habits die hard about using the keypad below the FMC, don't they? Do we need to do anything else here? I don't believe so. Then we can go over to performance, and we can do the takeoff performance So v-speeds, this is where we're going to borrow these numbers. So 133, 146, 148. 133, 146, and 148. And it's flaps 1. And yeah, we don't have a THS, so that's the trim for the horizontal stabilizer. But unfortunately, without a proper calculator for the A380, with all of the parameters in it, that's going to be impossible. Unless it's on here, and I'm being absolutely blind. I don't think it is. Anyway, so that's all done. We'll have to leave the trim setting as 0. So we could, but I guess we can type 0 in, can't we? Just to satisfy that. So the climb setting should be fine, cruise setting should be fine, descent should be fine, approach will fill in on the way. Okay, so having programmed the route in, the next thing we need to go and do is, I'm just reading down through my notes here, we're going to go over to the, no, it's called the AFSCP now. This isn't the mode control panel anymore. It's the auto flight system control panel. Set the QNH, so we'll press B to shortcut doing that. And we're going to want to set the altitude out to our cruise altitude, which is going to be, view the flight plan for our current flight, 36,000 feet. So spin this round to 36,000. Set the heading for the runway direction. We're taking off runway 08, so we'll take it to 80 degrees. It may not always be 80 degrees, mind, so let's go and have a quick look at that. So 08 is 83 degrees actually. What else do we need to do? We've done that, we've done that. We're going to set the speed for takeoff. That will be on the performance calculator as well if we go and have a look. Has it forgotten everything? Oh no, it's remembered everything. So, oh, it might not be on, yeah, it won't be on here. But anyway, what we could refer to is looking on the performance data down here. Is to see just what these numbers have got. So it's going to go manage to 250 knots anyway. Okay. So back overhead then. Seatbelt signs can go to auto or on. It doesn't matter really. It'd be interesting actually to see what triggers them to switch on if they are on auto. We can go and turn the external power off now because the APU's had plenty of time. If you want to check that, you can always look down here and pull up the APU on the display. You can see it's running down there. So external power can come off. And we can do the pushback. So to do the pushback, we're going to go down to the tablet and go to the pushback tab. We're going to turn the pushback system on and confirm it. We're going to call the tug. Make sure our parking brake is on at the moment. You can see the tug is manoeuvring. It's going to hit the wall by the look of it. So it's worth having a look now to see where we are. So we're taking off 08, so we need to taxi out. So we need to pull back to the right. Yeah, in order to taxi directly to the east. So the truck's just getting into place. And we can turn the parking brake off. Tug is attached. And we can push backwards. He says, famous last words. What is going on? Is it working? Has it gone wrong? Tug is attached, parking brake is off. I don't think the buttons are working very well this evening. This is a version, you know, an early version of the aircraft, is worth pointing out. So we'll just use the sliders. I think it's quite amusing when things like this happen. So we need the tail to go to the right. While we're waiting for the pushback going so slowly, we can go and put the AP bleed on. We can turn the ignition system on, and we can turn on engines 1 and 2. So I did some research on this. I haven't got a pilot operating handbook for an A380, but according to a search of the internet performed by AI robots, it came back saying on the A380 they switched the engines on at a bank at a time, so 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4. And the reason for doing that is not to overload the hydraulics. But it is fine to start 2 at a time. Now they're not starting, why is that? What have I forgotten? AP bleed is on. Oh, I haven't got the I've gone off script here, haven't I? I've stopped looking at my notes. And that hasn't helped it. So this is interesting, isn't it? Are the throttles working? Yes, the throttles are working. Let's try 1 at a time. Something strange is going on here. I'll sort it out once the pushback is finished. Ah, here we go. Yeah. So the live stream comment there is a prescient one. Because I'm whizzing through doing this so quickly, we got ahead of the aeroplane basically. So there are delays on some of the systems. That's worth knowing about. So let's go and stop this pushback and put our parking brake back on. Put the taxi light on, put the beacon light on now. We've got the engines starting up. Okay, so it's just a question of firing the engines up. So yeah, we should be able to, as I said, fire them up in banks now, and it should be fine about it. You can see this one's coming up. But we were just too quick off the mark with whizzing through doing everything. It's interesting to see that that's simulated though. So N1's coming up. You can see the numbers rising. So we'll wait for that to come up. It's complaining that the transponder is in standby. The reason for that is you typically have the transponder on as soon as you're taxiing, so you can be seen in the aircraft, on the airport. If you ever look on Flight Radar 24, you'll notice that in the real world, that when planes are taxiing, they turn the transponder on. And that's why you can see them taxiing around. So to do that, we can go into the serve page while we're waiting for the engines, and we can go and put the transponder on auto. Obviously the warning goes away and we just get the standard stuff showing up down here. We can put the TCAS on TA only at the moment. So we're broadcasting our position but not responding to other broadcasts. Okay, those engines are going, so 3 and 4 can come up. And yeah, the numbers are raising. Look, so there is. So yes, that's interesting. There is a delay between the bleed air being on and being able to spin up the engines. That's a new one on me. As I said, it's tremendously difficult at the moment because we need to go and get rid of the truck, don't we? Let's go and tell the truck to go away. Turn the system off, so we should see him pulling away from the... Oh, he's already disappeared. Flight Sim's done its magic disappearing trick on the truck. Poor chap. He was busy going about his day and he vanished into thin air. So engines are coming up. You can see the numbers raising over here. N2, fuel flow's increasing. And available. Hurrah! Packs kick in automatically. The APU bleed can come off. The APU can come off. It's a shame the logo lights don't work, isn't it? I'm sure they'll fix it or add, these extra bits of functionality over the coming weeks and months. So ignition system can come back off now. And we've just got the parking brake showing now. So parking brake off, and then it'll come up with the takeoff checklist very soon. So we'll go before we'll preempt it asking about the flaps and the spoilers. So then we're going to push out to the Mike taxiway by the look of it. So ease the throttles forwards. Oh, let's go and check. I don't think I've got data on. No, I haven't. Let's go and put data on. I turned data off the other day because I was trying to record a video and people kept spawning in front of me the whole time, which would have ruined the video. But I don't really mind for this one because it's just a fun flight. Should we go and turn the other traffic on as well? General options. Traffic, we're going to show aircraft type real-time online. We got ground density on 50% as well. Okay, should we put some head tracking on? I'm just going to go and have a look then. I'm just going to slow our taxi down. I've just read the live stream comments. This is something new for me. So on the fuel page of the EFB, crossed arrows toggle button, the figure is for the THS. I can't see a crossed arrows toggle button. Yeah, I just looked at the payload page and it's not there either. The cross... oh, this one you mean? No, that's not the... it would say 0 point something up or down or something like that. It wouldn't say a percentage. There's our runway over there. Nearly put it on the grass. while I was messing around with views. So I guess by that German guy you mean he used to be 737 driver, didn't he? And now I think he's Airbus driver, and it's Emmanuel, isn't it? Yeah, he would know. But the numbers, yeah, quite what he's getting the numbers from is another question, because the THS you'd expect to have plus or minus, but it may be written differently in this aircraft. Who knows? I'll have to go and have a watch of his coverage. He's a fantastic resource for this sort of stuff. He often goes into bits of detail to help the community, which none of the others tend to do. He is really, really good. So let's just check the map. We are going to the correct runway, aren't we? Yeah. So runway 08 is directly ahead of us. If we look at the signs as we get closer, it's painted on the ground in front of us. I'm just being very wary because the A380 is difficult to handle on the ground. Okay, parking brake on for the moment. So we have taxied. We have the taxi light on already. So then the landing lights can come on now. We'll try and keep head tracking on to do this. If you want to be certain about strobe, you can always go and force it to on now. And yeah, this is the problem with head tracking, look. We could force the seatbelt lights to be absolutely on now. And we should be pretty much ready to go. Oh, rejected takeoff needs to be on. So you'll get the checklist here now. Look, the airplane knows we're on the runway. There's a new product has come out just recently that apparently lots of commercial aircraft have, where it tells you your location across the top of the navigation display. I think they're selling it at Builds maybe. So takeoff config test. Again, takeoff config test, I'm not sure if it's implemented, but we can try it by coming off the parking brake, holding the toe brakes and revving the throttles. And if we get no alarms, then we should be okay. Now, I don't know if there is supposed to be an automated way of doing that built in, but that's one way of doing a takeoff config test. So we didn't get any alarms. Okay, so let's go for it. So why didn't the auto throttle come on? Is it because the flight director isn't on? There we go. Okay. Rotate. Got positive rate. Gear up. Should we go out outside? Autopilot's on. And we're going to go manage mode on the heading now. Now, this is interesting, isn't it? Because look, this flight plan hasn't got anything until we turn around, and we left the discontinuity in. So we're going to go for heading mode on purpose. Let me turn the head tracking off so we can do this. So we're going to start turning ourselves right. And head for that first waypoint. So we're essentially manual on purpose, which is what I thought might happen. We're in the manual phase of this. Now it wanted us to go further out to 5934 before we did the turn, so we're kind of shortcutting it a little bit. So what we can do is go and get rid of that off the plan and go straight to Ralphie. Okay, so let's try this. Let's do a direct to Ralphie. See, I've not tried this in the airplane. Oh, is it not implemented yet? Oh, that's a shame. Can we see Ralphie on the map if we put the waypoints up and we increase the range slightly? It's quite a long way out the other side of the airport, isn't it? So we might have to increase the range even further. There it is. So that's the direction we want to be going, and then once we've got it going that way, we'll just correct the flight plan. So if we go and clear out this manual, delete that, insert, delete that, insert, and delete the discontinuity. We could delete this off as well, and then we're going straight for Ralphie. Okay, and now we can go for manage mode. So will the airplane understand that? No, it's trying to go for rapid. Yeah, I think we've hit the... Oh, maybe we haven't. Let's keep an eye on it and just watch what it does. Is it trying to get the exit bearing through Ralphie? Let's just watch what happens. This is interesting because it gives us an insight as to how far they've got with programming the thing. So I think we've taken one waypoint too many out. We would have to put in a waypoint that's in line with us, but over here we haven't got one, have we? So we could put KDEN in, I guess, because you want the from and to at the start of the page. Let's try direct to, see if it will work now. No, it's because Ralphie's the first one on the list. We've taken one too many out. So if I put KDEN back in, so how do we do this on this new system? Insert. Can we insert in front of? I don't think we can we? We can only go next. Okay, that's fine. But it seems to be doing it, which is odd. We've kind of asked it for the impossible, and it's working. It's getting us onto the vector for between Ralphie and Rapids, which is quite clever, really. It's a bit like asking for the radial into a VOR when you want the radial out of the VOR, isn't it? So let's go back, we'll forget about that then for the moment. We'll see how it does, and we'll go to the survey page, service page, and then go TAR. Serve, what does serve actually stand for in the Airbus? So I just realised about the climb to tent while I was busy looking at the nav. Oh, we don't need the ground spoilers anymore. Every flight I do in these new aeroplanes tends to become a test flight where I'm trying things out. That's a shame that the Direct 2 doesn't work. So if we went straight to... we can choose it, but it doesn't do anything, look. That's a shame. So we've gone through 18,000 feet, obviously, some time ago. Let's go and fix that. We can turn the waypoints off now. It does work, but it's very click sensitive. Let's go and have another play with it then. So, direct to... okay, you can't choose the first one. That's what the problem was, because obviously I deleted too many items out of the flight plan. But there does appear to be an issue there that you can't insert. Well, you shouldn't have to insert before where you are on the plan, I guess. You would do a direct to, wouldn't you? But it's interesting just to see how this whole system works, to play with it. But yeah, this is just part of my trouble in the sim. I'm always tinkering to learn more about how the system works. We want to go and turn the seatbelt signs to auto now. Let everybody go and race off to the toilet. It's interesting that the rejected takeoff disarms itself automatically. I can't remember other airplanes doing that. This must be the shortest trip this plane has ever done. So we're just coming up to top of climb. Let's go and increase the range. How far have we got to top of this? There we go. So about 240 miles until we start descending into Salt Lake City. Okay, I'm guessing over time they'll end up developing the rest of these displays that aren't operative at the moment. It's pretty good at the moment though. I was impressed with the VOR information that you can show on it. I was playing around with it the other day. So just to give you an example of that, if we put the map to auto IFR, have we got any, I don't know if we've got any VORs nearby. Let's have a look on LittleNavMap. Yeah, we were supposed to go way further out and do a teardrop to come in. We didn't. Here's the one ahead of us, look. So this is the Kremlin VOR. So 113.80. So if we go down to the navigation radios, and obviously it's programming its own at the moment, so let's go and have a play with these. Not allowed. Okay, so you have to put the decimal point in. Is it going to find it in its database? But then if we go and turn the display on for it, yep, it's pointing the right direction. It hasn't got an ident for it, which is interesting. But then if we go and put the display of VORs on, it's the RLG one, so there it is, right in front of us. Interesting. Ah, it's got it here, look. But it hasn't got it here. Interesting. Again, this is just me tinkering. How many souls on board? I can't remember. Let's go and have a look. 439. And 10,000 kilograms of cargo. So we've got mostly filled on the main deck and about half, oh no, mostly filled on the upper deck as well. There's a lot of people in there. So on our way to Salt Lake City. By hook or by crook. So we didn't turn the landing lights off while we were busy talking. Let's go do that. See, I noticed this the other day that this animates. It's odd, isn't it? It's got particular places that you can grab it. You have to be really, really careful about where you... Can you grab it with the mouse? Oh, you can just hold it. You don't have to use the mouse wheel. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, anyone who's not seen this yet, you can do some crazy stuff with this aeroplane. So we could then grab this, pull that down. We can grab that and pull it all the way down. We can grab these. I think these only pull like small shades down on the sides. It's a bit mad, isn't it?
Level off. Level off.
Why are we going so slowly? There's no warnings, it's just right on the limit of the time. Oh, I didn't set the managed airspeed mode, that'd be why. I thought I set that earlier when we came out of the takeoff. Again, busy experimenting, didn't follow the procedures. This will be interesting actually. Let's have a look and see how this works then. So if we go between Mach and speed, we're going to set this for 260. Is it about 270 it's aiming for? So on managed mode, I want it to be at 270. Oh, there's a fire extinguisher. Can we use it?
Traffic. Traffic. Crossing descent.
That's great. So we have some traffic. Let's go for the...
Clear of conflict.
So is the aeroplane reacting to the traffic? Where is it? Right in front of us. It's not there now. Just reading the live stream comments. Yes, this is the fly-by-wire Airbus A380. This is a bit of a test flight, really. So the main reason for doing it was to look at the performance calculator in SimBrief, which gives you a shortcut where you can populate it from the flight and it calculates you your numbers for takeoff. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you, well, you wouldn't expect it, I guess, to give you the trim. But I want to go and watch Emmanuel's video now to see what he was saying about the trim, because it's the last piece of the jigsaw really that I haven't got in the procedure. Let's see how we're doing. Whoops. Flight plan. So Chengi we're about to go through, and then we're on to EKR. So there we go, it's just changed over from Chengi to EKR. Notice what I said earlier about where you're going from is always the first line. So where I deleted that at the start, that's what threw the, or caused our own difficulty in the MCDU. Do I like Airbus or Boeing better? I haven't really got an opinion. I just think all of the airplanes are great fun to learn and to poke around in and figure out how they work. This is interesting though, because it's got so many new different things, like this system up here, you know, with the being able to change the navigation display mode. This is cool, isn't it? It hasn't got weather yet, I don't think. I don't know if the terrain radar works either, I'm not sure. Obviously we're not going to see anything at the moment because we're at 36,000 feet, but it might be interesting to turn that on closer to Salt Lake City and see the mountains, because we're going to pass right over the top of them. If we go and have a look at the map, I can show you that. So we are zooming along over the top. Where are we going past? Breckenridge, Glenwood Springs, and then yeah, we'll come in to the southeast of Salt Lake City and make the turn. So it'd be worth having a look at the approach actually. Let's go and have a look at this in detail. Get rid of that out of the way. So do we have some restrictions along the way? Expect 16,000. So then we've got above 12,000, exactly 11. It's not too bad actually. What does it say up here? Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. And then for the actual approach into 3-4 left, what angle is it? 3-degree glide slope, so it's normal. So we're coming in at 6,000 feet, because obviously the the airfield is at altitude, so you have to factor that in. 4,374 feet. So we come in at 6,100 feet into the glide slope, and then yeah, should be good. How many miles out is that? It's 5.5 miles out. Anyway. So Pilot's Boy is saying, hi, is the input lag accurate? I would imagine what you're seeing as input lag is momentum. The Airbus A380 weighs several hundred tons empty. So with fully loaded, it's going to be spectacularly heavy. Let's go and check that. If we go and look in, there's a performance calculator in here, isn't there? Or a payload graph. It's in here, is it? Or is it in the fuel one? I can't remember where it was now. Or is it here? Oh, I'm not going to find it, am I? I'm sure I've seen this. Fuel. Payload. Oh, there it is. I'm being silly. So this is in thousands of kilograms, so that's tons. Yeah, metric tons. So at the moment we weigh about 370 tons, maybe? 360 tons? Oh no, maybe not that, 350 tons. But that's why it's so ponderous to react. So you can look up here, look, the maximum amount of tons is... Well, that's maximum takeoff tonnage, I guess. But 490... It's probably about 510 tons, isn't it? That's mad, isn't it? So no wonder it needs specially reinforced taxiways to operate from, even though it's got all of those trucks on the gear to spread the load across. What have I done? I had this happen the other day and oh, it's a speed. Why have we got a speed? It's the deviation from the speed we were planning to be at, I guess, but... Why isn't that increasing, although it's winding the engines up, but it's not closing the gap very quickly. Oh, it's starting to happen. So yeah, the throttles have gone to 100%, look. And it's gone again. What's going on? There's no warning here. Oh, fuel is fine. How strange. We're not getting any icing warnings coming up. I wonder what... Why would we get a sound alert with no message? Because this is just relating that we're in speed mode on the managed modes, altitude, speed and nav. This isn't a warning, this is an... It's doing a not allowed. Oh, that was from earlier, the not allowed. Can we clear these out? Yeah. We're almost empty because it's this plane can fly 15,000 miles and we're flying 300. So the fuel load for the trip was a tiny amount compared to what it can carry. I mean, no, we're only 100 miles out of from descent. So maybe that is the issue, that normally you would be using this plane to fly, you know, thousands of miles, and we're getting it to fly 300 with just enough fuel to do that, so we may get some warnings along the way. But it's just interesting to me. There it goes again. Why? It's almost like it can't get to the speed it needs. So let's go managed speed. Oh, sorry, selected speed mode, and go for 280. So what's happening with the throttles? Is it's going to run me out of fuel? This will be interesting. I don't really want to dead stick it into Salt Lake City, but I've got an aircraft out there. Oh, there's an aircraft. They're quite a long way off, and they're several thousand feet apart from us. It's not a TCAS warning, or I don't think it is, because I'm sure we get a message with TCAS. Because if we switch this around to show fuel on block, we are going to get to, yeah, we'll have 5 tons left. This might be a bug, or it's something we're just not aware of. I'm wondering why we're getting a tone with no message. Normally if you get a tone, you'd have a message to go with it. This is almost like it can't reach the targeted speed, though. We haven't got a control issue, have we? No, there's no spoilers, there's no flaps. Let's check the status around the aeroplane of things. What's video do? Nothing. Oh, hang on a second. If we have got so little left in the tanks, and we're running all of the fuel pumps, but you'd expect to see messages about that, wouldn't you? It's still not reaching speed that we anticipated. Has it got probe heats on? Anti-ice. You would. This is all on auto, so you would switch it to manual if you switch anything on. Dark is good in an Airbus. I've not had it installed at all yet. I'm just looking at the live stream comments there. See, I don't know what these numbers relate to. Without a pilot operating handbook. I wonder if we get failures built into this. Let's go and have a look. So they're all green. Presumably that means that it's now failed if we do that. Can we resolve failures? If we fail something, does that mean we can get it back? There's no documentation for this yet, is there? Well, there's no proof even that you would have expected when I did a rapid decompression we would have seen klaxons go off all over the place, but it hasn't. So I'm wondering if this is implemented yet. It may not be implemented. So we're looking for something that's non-existent. It's just odd that we're running at 100%. I think we've hit a problem with the aeroplane, you know. Interesting, isn't it? And we've got no rendering of top of descent anymore. Is it marked on the flight plan page? Descent is there, so if we zoom back in, we're en route to MTU and then top of descent. It's interesting it's not marked on here anymore. I'm just watching that target speed. Let's have a look at the aeroplane. Is there anything odd? Oh, there's a... Oh, look! When I was messing around with the failures, we managed to open the doors. They must do that for the rapid decompression. That's interesting, isn't it? But it hasn't set any alarms off. And there's no way of fixing this once you've done it. That's a shame that you can't Unless you can do it through somewhere else. Realism. Nope. There's no way of repairing the aeroplane, I don't think, once you've done a failure. So what we're going to do is simulate what you might do in the real world, I guess, and descend. Which should be good fun. But we need to find out how we can get to about 12,000 feet by the look of it. Let's have a look on LittleNavMap. This is cheating slightly, but if we just get rid of the warning for the moment. Maybe that's drag from the door then that is simulating, that's causing that slowdown. That's quite amusing, isn't it? Well, not amusing if you were on the real aeroplane, but we were going to pull up the... So we can get to 13,000 feet. Let's do that. I think that's what it was, you know. Let's go and do an open descent. Now, is it going to listen to me? The nose is coming down, but the descent rates... I think we've frozen up, you know. The instruments aren't working. Which would explain the ribbon not moving. So that would be a failure of the instruments. We may be doing a completely visual landing with no external references. Yeah, because look, the ribbons aren't moving, which would that would be explained by the probes having frozen. Unless it has just crashed. It could be the airplane's gone wrong. So let's have a look and see what do we have to work from. Yeah, the airplane's lost all guidance. It is descending though. So let's go off the autopilot. Yeah, we've got no flight controls. We have no control. I think the airplane's actually gone wrong. It's not anything being simulated, it's just gone wrong. So there we are trying to fix a problem which wasn't a problem. It was a bug. That's the first bug I've seen. I've got no influence over anything. Unless it's simulating the cabin, the crew are incapacitated. In which case you wouldn't be able to. Oh no, because look, I'm putting controls in. Nothing's happening. That's what's wrong. Right, we're going to try the nuclear option. I'm going to see if we can hack our way through this. So, developer mode, on, apply, options. Where is it? Where's the aircraft selector? Tools, aircraft selector, and we're going to choose the A380, fly-by-wire A380, load. We'll just load a different livery of the same aeroplane. Go back, resume. And we have control. We've just got some hard work to do now. and we have ribbons moving and working. So I think that was a broken aeroplane. So we need to get out of warning, any warnings, then we can engage autopilot. Now, have we lost our flight plan? Yes, we have. So we're going in on selected mode. That's fine. Oh, shut up. So where are we? Let's have a look on the map. We need to do a right turn about 130 degrees or so. Can we get... So we're down to 29... Oh, we're climbing. Let's get this under control. Let's have a look outside. So the doors are closed now, which is good. So we're going to be hand flying this, and I'll reprogram it along the way. Let's go selected mode and get the autopilot sorted out then. So we're going far too fast at the moment, but we can lift the nose and deal with that. Okay. So we'll go get the heading round to the direction we're actually going. Autopilot on. The target 15,000 feet for the moment. I'm having to think now. So, what do we have in terms of any initialization of the flight? Yeah, it's completely empty, look. So, can we just go to the flight plan page and do this directly in here? Will it let us? No, it won't. Init. From. No, it won't let us fill a flight plan in, so we are manual control. We can't put a flight plan in. Which is fine. So we're going to have to wing it and use radio navigation to get in. So to begin with, we'll go for this VOR over here. Hopefully the VOR stations are going to work. 108.4. So radio navigation. And let's switch this. This is already on VOR mode. And show that on the display, show the VORs. Why is it not showing us the arrow? Oh, probably, are we out of range of it? What's the range of this beacon? 20, yeah, it's 25 miles. It's useless, isn't it? It's no good to us whatsoever. What about this vortex station over here? 116.6, 25 miles. Rubbish. What about over at the airport itself? What's its 130? Brilliant. 116.8. We're not descending though, which is not good. Let's do an open descent. Is it going to behave? Yes, it is. So we should have picked up TCH, yeah. It's not showing any distance though. Maybe we're still further than 130 miles out. Yeah, we are. Maybe we're borderline. Measure distance. 132 nautical miles. We're right on the border. But once we get that, we can put our radial in for course and figure it out as we go. So ideally we want to be coming in on the runway course for 34 left, don't we? Which is 344 degrees. Let's just double check. Oh, there we go, it's just picked it up, look. We'll carry on the direction we're going at the moment. So we're coming down to 18,000 feet. What's the QNH at the destination? So we're having to recover here. We've got no flight plan because the aeroplane went wrong. You know, the simulator went, or the simulated aeroplane went wrong. So we had to reload in flight. Open airports. Weather. 1014. Let's go and change this to hectopascals. We're in an Airbus after all. So we're about to come through 18,000 feet. 1014, both sides. That's good. Whew. Concentrate. It's given us something to do, isn't it? That's the main thing. We can exit dev mode now. So we're coming down to 15,000 feet. That was really disaster recovery to come down. Maybe we'll hold it at 17,000. Seems we've got some time to think now. So there's our course of 334. There's the bearing of the VOR. So we can turn when that gets to the course. Does that make sense? So you don't get a CDI in this navigation display. You just get the course and the bearing to the VOR. So obviously you can play games with knowing when they have aligned. So I'm on manual throttles, so I need to go and... Now, can I have managed speed mode? No, obviously not. But I can use selected speed with the climb to 10. So we'll go for 280 knots for the moment. We'll drop to 250 when we get a bit closer. So that was the point the aeroplane went wrong, look, and it started to turn, and we didn't realise for the longest time we had no control over the aeroplane whatsoever. We were looking for things being frozen, there were alarms going off, and then we looked outside and saw all the doors had opened, and we had no flight controls. So yeah, I have no idea what caused it. Oh, what have we got? Overspeed, overspeed, overspeed. Oh, that's the... Okay, so that's not working. Spoilers out. So the auto throttles aren't working, so we're going to just have to use manual. That's fine. At least we've got some control. You have to remember this aeroplane is in alpha. So we're expecting to find the odd bug. But it's good that we've got just enough to get home, basically. Have we lost the VOR? Or has it reprogrammed itself? 116.80. 11680. I'm just expecting that to sweep round and it's not doing so. And this, oh, that must be VOR2, it's not the course. Interesting. So does it not represent the course on here? I'm having to figure this out as we do it, which is not fun. So we come down to, we're at 17,000, just bleeding speed off gently. So we're going to do the pencil and paper on the GPS method of doing this. And we will turn 344 when we get to the line. So we're essentially trying to land an aeroplane that's been crippled by a bug. But we've got just enough to be able to get it in. The autopilot's working in selected mode. The auto throttle isn't, or I don't think the auto throttle was working. Let's try that again. So if I say 260 knots, it's asking me to put the throttles in climb, so let's do that. Last time it just kept on accelerating. No, it's working this time, good. So that's something else I don't have to look after. And okay, we got some freezing cloud just to help us. What else is going to happen today? So what was the altitude of the airport? 4,000 feet. And we needed to be at 6,000 feet on the way into the ILS, didn't we? Or 5 miles out. So these are rendered at 8 miles on LittleNavMap. So we can't really descend too much until we get out over these mountains. We can see that rendered on here somewhere. Although we're nowhere near the flight plan at the moment. So what we may as well do is go in here, get rid of those, add a position here, add a position there, just to get some idea of the hills below us. There we go. So when we get to about where we turn, we can start descending. And we're looking for the VOR to get to 334 degrees. I wonder if there's a way of setting a course to appear on here. I bet there is a way, but we just haven't, not sure of how to do it. No, I don't mean the heading. I mean the course, as in the desired course into the VOR. I don't mean showing the heading line. I'm just reading the live stream comments there. because obviously, yeah, I don't know that heading mode's working. Or maybe it is. Yeah, it is, actually, yeah. So let's go and pull ourselves down to 15,000 now. Open descent. So we've at least got some control. So for anybody that's joined this late, we have no flight plan because the aeroplane crashed in mid-air, you know, software crashed. So we reloaded a new aeroplane in mid-air via the dev tools, which got us out of the woods in terms of being able to control the aeroplane because we have no control. Now, if we zoom out on the navigation display, we'll actually see the airport, won't we, if we show airports? Because obviously there's no destination. We want to show airports. KSLC, we're looking for, there it is. It's in the middle of, so we don't need that amount of range. KSLC, there it is, hurrah! So when that lines up with, it's about 334 degrees, isn't it? So we can probably start turning fairly soon. This is going to be a bit death-defying, isn't it? We can see the hills. Obviously once we get into ILS it'll be straightforward and simple, but we just need to get into the neighbourhood using what we've got without the guidance system working properly. Let's have a look outside. So we have 344 souls on board, was it? We're trying to get home in one piece, and now we've got cloud to deal with. It's pretty outside though, doesn't it? Should we put head tracking on so we can actually see outside? I guess that's the sun going down. So that implies we need to get the lights on fairly soon. Interior lights. Cabin. External lights. Just check something. That's not operative, great. So we're going to about to turn to 344 then. I'm going to turn just shy of it. So we'll go to 330 for the moment. So you can see it's slowly lining up. And we agreed that once we start descending we can start coming down more. So let's do an open descent, 13,000 feet. Now we're over the hills. That was the major threat, was this line of hills. So now we're broadly in line with the runway. Let's get down to 10,000 and straight away. Then we can go and get the lights on. So open descent, and we'll get to 250 knots as well while we're at it. We use the spoilers to make that happen quickly. So we can see now we've got 60 miles to run. Obviously we're coming in low on purpose. It's quite scary out there, doesn't it? And it's getting dark. So we've got a broken aeroplane, it's getting dark, we've got cloud. What else can it throw at us? I guess this would have been a perfect opportunity to use Volanta with its premium subscription, wouldn't it? Because you can have it automatically saving your aeroplane during a flight, so then you can respawn exactly as you were. I'm not sure if it keeps the flight plan now, it probably doesn't actually. So we would have been in the same boat of having to use VOR manual navigation to get home. So you can see we're just coming onto our radial that we wanted. So what's the wind doing? Directly in our face. That's really helpful. That's the first thing that's gone our way. So 54 miles to run. Coming down through 12,000 feet. In our hilariously broken A380. I actually like it when things like this happen because it gives you something to do. Otherwise it's just an exercise in how close can I do this to book procedure. You know, or if you're using the autopilot all the way, sometimes it feels like you haven't touched the joystick or throttle all flight, or done anything with the aeroplane. So coming down to 10,000. Let's have a look at the map. So yeah, we can't go any lower than 10,000 because we've got hills in the way for a while. At least it lets us, we've got speed under control, 250, we're just coming down. So within 500 feet of 10,000 we can go and turn the landing lights on. Should we go and have a look outside? Oh, there's a nice little halo effect coming out of them, look. You can just about see it over the, you can see it over the water, look. Very cool. Yeah, there's that hill we need to avoid. Okay, so in a few minutes we'll start descending a bit further, so we just need to clear these hills. And then we can get down to 6,000 feet and we'll be lining up for the ILS then, changing frequencies. So we can program the ILS in as a separate frequency, can't we? So we don't have to play on Nav1. 111.90 and 344 degrees. And and it hasn't identified it, which is interesting. But again, maybe that's not implemented yet. Okay, I need to keep an eye on these hills because they are looking remarkably close. But we are at 10,000 feet. We're expecting to be within 1,000 feet of them. So we're now 40 miles out on our saviour mission. It's going to be dark by the time we land, isn't it? The sun's gone. Oh, yes, good idea. Let's try terrain mode out. I don't know if it's going to work. Probably not. You'd think it would have come on by now, wouldn't you? That's a shame. What about serve? The serve page. So we got auto, we got TARA. That stayed on then. So it did remember some things. It just lost the flight plan. So we just need to clear this hill and then we can descend. "33 miles to run." We're getting there. We want a couple of degrees to the right, don't we? Love the reflections. So I've got SimBrief installed, I just haven't got it running. Does it run it itself automatically? Or do we have to launch it via the tablet maybe? I thought the tablet itself was provided by SimBrief. Anyway, I'm not going to get too tied up in that because we need to go and land the aeroplane. So we're just clearing that line of hills. So let's drop ourselves. You can see that runway in front of us is South Valley Regional. That's the one we can see right there. "26 miles to run." Should we have a play with vertical speed mode? Let's just tell it to come down at 500 feet a minute. We're not in a hurry. Autothrottle is working remarkably. "24 miles to run." I wonder how far out we'll need to be to pick up the ILS. I'll just go manual as soon as we've got an ILS signal. KSLC is there, so let's go and reduce the range. There it is, 22 miles. let's cut this back to 220 knots now. We can see the runway. If we go for landing system, can we get a reading yet? Not yet. Whoa! What did the autopilot think it was doing then? I've gone fully manual. It's fine. We can see the glide slope. The localizer hasn't picked up though. Should we straighten the view up? Put head tracking on. Whoa! What did that think it was doing? Okay. It's very pretty, isn't it, in the dark? Getting a bit slow. Wow, look at it diving around. Get rid of the spoilers, and then we'll get more range on the airspeed. Let's get back onto the. Oh, we need to arm the ground spoilers again. Okay. Get back onto the glide slope. Speed is under control, and we're looking good. So it was an unanticipatedly exciting trip. Where the aeroplane hilariously went wrong and we had to reload with an aeroplane with an empty head. I guess you have to remember this is an alpha, the A380. It's not, you know, they're saying themselves it's not the release version. It's the very first release of it as a work in progress. What's the wind doing? Got an 8-knot headwind. So last time I came in, I put this in a bit heavy. So we've got 2 or 3 reds now on the pappies. At least we can see them. 2 reds, 2 whites. Excellent. I've got a bit of a pilot-induced oscillation going on with the pitch. Every time I correct it, it then sways the other way. So it's saying I'm low. I don't know where the runway starts. I'm guessing it's where the orange lights end. Just following the pappies blindly here. There's the runway.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5,
compressors. Wheel brakes. Spoilers can come back off. Flaps can come up. And we can take the next exit. Well, that was more exciting than it needed to be. Now, I have no idea where I'm going. So I may have to stop and go and look at the map. And calm down. Okay, so we need to double back and then we can go in towards the terminals. So we cross over the next taxiway. And we can go and turn those landing lights off. I've put the turning lights on purpose just so we can see where we're going easily. So I haven't got any replay software installed, but I guess you could obviously watch the video back on YouTube when it goes, obviously when I stop the live stream. I think you can replay a live stream while it's on. So is this the next turn? Yeah. So we can either go this one or the next one, doesn't matter. And then straight line it over to the buildings. Although we'll follow the blue lights. The only thing in the dark is you can't see if there's any aeroplanes at the gates until you're almost on them, because we haven't got any guidance from ground to tell us where to go. So we're going to run across things in the dark. I can see there's one plane there, he's got his tail light on. If we go around him. Obviously this is one of the stock airports, it's not an AI. There's a little business jet down there, we can just see his lights. There's a couple of planes down here as well. This looks like an empty gate. Look how big this thing is once you see it next to other aeroplanes. It's quite hilarious, isn't it? So I'm sorry mate, we're going to block you in. I'm going to have to stop there, otherwise I'll hit him. That's quite amusing. I mean, that's not anything small either. It's an Airbus, isn't it? An A320. I think it's an A321. And we're just making it look like a dinky toy. So parking brake on. Let's go and turn the... Should have had the strobes off, by the way, but anyway. Beacon stays on for the moment. Do we have external power? We could have put the APU on while we were taxiing. So I think we can get external power through here. If we go back to ground services, ground power unit, then it will become available. Or it should have done. Maybe this is part of the aeroplane going wrong that's causing this to go. So we could do it the other way around then. Put the APU back on. If it's not going to let us have external power. Unless we can do it through scroll lock, the ATC communications. So ground services, Salt Lake ground. No, there's no option to go and to get external power. That's a shame. That's why it didn't work up there. So we've got APU coming up. So if we go, yeah, we can see it here, look. So as soon as that's generating, we can go and turn the engines off. There we go. And the engines wind down. And then we can go and turn the pumps off. So many pumps. And the cruise supply can come off, and I'm just trying to think what else we switched on around the aeroplane. My brain's gone now in all of the excitement. Beacon light off, nav light off, 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 and then APU off and off. It seems to hold a residual amount of power. Oh, we need to go and turn the inertial reference system off as well. It seems to hold a residual amount of power for a few moments when you've turned everything off. Unless, of course... Oh look, external power is now available. It just took a few moments for them to plug it in, I guess. So if we remove that, even though we weren't using it, we're really putting this aeroplane through the mill, aren't we? It will go dark in a moment. I'm guessing it will. So all of the batteries are off. We've got no external power in use. We've got no APU anymore. And it's still awake. We still have some lights. Are those our... Oh no, it's just gone dark, look. Yeah, no, that's the truck outside. So we still have power to... there we go, it's just gone dead. And we still... we still have lighting on some of the buttons. That's interesting. Or maybe they're glow-in-the-dark buttons. Who knows? Oh, he's given up now with the truck. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that. That was good fun. There's nothing to see here now, is there? It's all dark. But yeah, that was an unanticipated adventure look. So we got to about there and the airplane went wrong, and it took us all that time to figure out what was going on. And then we got it back under control and came back in manually. Very good. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'll see you again soon, hopefully for a less eventful flight. Take care.